In this video, I would like to show you some of the best graphical interfaces for using Docker, especially when you are using Docker in your production environment. This way you avoid using CLI commands for Docker. Let's go. Hi, my name is Hatam. I'm a software engineer for the past 8 years, and Docker is one of the most used tools that I'm using for my application, both in production and both in local environment. This would be my third video in the Docker series. Previously, I talked about what is Docker, how to create a Docker file, and how you can use Docker Compose to create multi-container applications. If you haven't watched those videos and you're unfamiliar with what is Docker, please click on the top right corner or in the description box and go watch those videos. Then come back here and continue from this point. Imagine you prepare the Docker Compose file and you have a multi-container application and you're working locally and it works perfectly. Now it's time to put it on the production. As I mentioned in my last video, there are lots of different hosting platforms that they are offering Docker as one of the ways to implement structures for the architecture of your application. For most of these hosting platforms, you can just easily upload your Docker Compose file and they build it for you inside of their hosting and cloud environment. On the other hand, if you have a virtual cloud on a hosting platform and it doesn't support Docker the way other platforms do, you can just simply SSH into your server and download Docker and start using it. In both cases, whenever you want to check Docker container, you need to SSH to the server and then run Docker CLI commands such as Docker Compose PS or Docker PS or Docker run and see the status or any information that you would like about your Docker containers on the production. As I showed you before in the previous videos, when you're running Docker on your local environment, there is an application with Docker called Docker Desktop, which is a small GUI that it's a graphical interface and you can manage your Docker images and containers and some of the other specification of how Docker is running on your local environment. But when your Docker application is running in the production environment, you don't have access to Docker Desktop tool. So in order to avoid this hassle of running everything manually and going through this procedure of SSH and then running Docker Compose command or Docker command in the CLI, we have a very good solution for you. The solution would be to use one of the different tools available for a graphic user interface on web application of Docker like Portainer or Yacht. With these two applications, you can easily monitor all your Docker containers, images, volumes, and then you can also run different commands. The good thing about these two tools is that you can run them as a container inside of your Docker environment, but they will give you access to a URL, and when you open that URL you have a very nice and clean dashboard to have an overview of all your different Docker containers, images, volumes, and etc. Portainer and Yacht are two most popular tools for helping us in this matter. Each one of these tools will act as a new container inside of your Docker application, and they give you a link which you can access the browser and the dashboard. This way you can access the containers that you have, which one is off, which one is running, the other images that you downloaded before, or also the volumes that you created for your Docker environment, and so on. Using these tools, you can also check the performance of each container and how much resource each one is using. One of the unique features that Portainer has is that you can SSH into each one of the containers in the web browser and you can run any command that you'd like. In the installation process of any of these two tools, they will create a volume in your Docker application and they will save their data and configs there, so you won't lose them. One of the advantages of using any of these tools is something called templates. Both of these tools accept custom templates. Templates are like Docker Compose file. One of the advantages of using Portainer is it has lots of pre-made templates inside of it, so you can select them and just use them very fast. You can also use Portainer for Kubernetes and Docker Swarm clusters. If you would like to know more about Kubernetes or Docker Swarm, you can write it down in the comment and I will make a video for it. I will advise you that to stay with me and I will show you how to install these two tools on your environment. If you like this video so far, please give it a like, and if you don't want to miss my videos in the future, please subscribe and press on the bell notification. I will create similar videos to these and lots of other videos regarding software engineering in general. Okay, so first of all, we'll start with typing Portainer in our search browser. So Portainer has two different versions. One of them is for the community and the other one is a paid version. Then simply press on the install button at the top right corner in the bar. Here, as you can see, you can choose between which version of Portainer would you like to install. Let's go with the community edition. Now it took us to the documentation page for the Portainer. Now we can press on set up a new Portainer. As I'm using Docker standalone right now and I'm not using Docker Swarm or Kubernetes, I will just press on Docker standalone. As I'm using a macOS, I will press on the Docker on Linux. If you come down, you will see that the deployment, it tries to create a Docker volume at first, and then it will try to put the Portainer on our Docker installation. So I will open my terminal and copy the data to my terminal. So I created a new volume called Portainer data so that Portainer container can save its data in this volume. Now the next line is for the downloading and installing Portainer. Now let's paste it and see what it will do. So as you see, Docker couldn't find the Portainer image locally, so it tries to grab it from its repository, and now it's downloading and it will install it. Portainer installation is done. Just remember, following this instruction is the same for your production environment as well. So you SSH into your server and you run the same command and it will create the Portainer for you. Now, in order to make sure that the Portainer was installed, we can run docker ps. As you see, Portainer is up and running. In the documentation, it mentions that you can go to localhost 9443 and you can access the browser version of Portainer. But when you're running this in your production environment, instead of localhost, you have your IP of your server, and then you can put 9443 as the port. Let's open it. So it tries to ask for the permission because it doesn't seem that it's a secure connection. So we are saying that yes, proceed. And now we are seeing the first page of Portainer. So whenever you start Portainer for the first time, you're facing this page with it wants to ask you for username and password for your admin, or only a password in this case. Okay, now we are creating our account. I will add this password for the Portainer so I won't forget it. Now, as you're seeing here, it doesn't find any environment for me because I'm not running anything right now. But what we can do is that we can go to the template section and run one of the templates. In the environment section, it will show my Docker environment that is running on my local. It says that I have 836 volumes, 103 images, and 6 CPU cores are running. And I have 2 stacks and 4 containers. So I press on the local environment and now we are at this page, which we can see better result of the for monitoring my containers. Here I can see that this says that I have 4 containers. One of them is running, which is a Portainer, and 3 of them are stopped, and it gives also some indication of which one is healthy, which one is unhealthy, and how issues, and if we have any issues with them. It also tells me that I have 130 images downloaded and 77 gigabytes of my storage has been used. So on the left side you can see there is a app template. You can press on it and it will open a list of the templates that we can choose from. These are the most popular templates for the Portainer. Let's look around. We have Ubuntu, Node.js, Nginx, HTTP, Caddy, MySQL, MariaDB, different databases, and so on. As you can see, it also has a template for WordPress. In case you couldn't find the template that you're looking for, you can go here and press on the custom template, and you can add your own custom template. You can give it a title, description, notes if you like. You can also give it a URL for the icon image. You will mention what platform it will use, Linux or or Windows, and then it's a standalone or it's a swarm. Now you have different choices on how to add these custom template. You can either write it here in the web editor, it's like a normal text. You can upload it from your computer. So if you have this compose, Docker compose file available on your computer, you can just upload it here. Or you can connect it to a repository, and then it can download it from the repository. Now we have also different access controls, that if it's an administrator or the restricted, and then at the bottom you can create custom templates. Next, we can press on containers, and then we can see a list of containers that I have. And as you see that I have a blog MySQL, I have a blog Laravel test, I have some other one for the proxy, and the Portainer as well. So this was a small overview of how to use Portainer and how to install it, and what is the capabilities and feature that it has. I suggest you go ahead and put it on your local environment and start to play with it and see how it works. The installation for the Yacht as another tool would be the same as how we did for the Portainer. It's just different commands, but it will use another port, so it won't collide with Portainer. Please like and subscribe and press on the bell notification so you will be notified when I'm uploading videos similar to this. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.